All right, I know. Look, I'm looking crazy right now. I just came back from the gym. Didn't have enough time to, go through my regular routine of shaving and lining myself up and looking nice for you. It's rainy and cold here in Michigan. And so I wanted to hop on before I missed this thought. I had a thought today and I wanted to share it with you. I don't have time to do all the other stuff. Okay. Here's the thought I had that we're going to talk about today. Have you ever had your future talk to you? Crazy. Have you ever had your future call out to you? We're going to talk about that, what that looks like, and how you can prepare for your next level here on the Kingdom Confidence Podcast. What's going on? This is Coach Jesse Cole, your Kingdom Confidence coach. I'm excited that you're here today. And like I said in the opening, this is going to be an unconventional episode. I'm not dressed up. I'm not shaved up. I'm not lined up. I just got back from the gym. It's cold here in Michigan. I still got my Scully on and my gym clothes. Haven't even taken a shower yet, okay? But I wanted to hop on today real quick before I got the rest of my day started because this is real fresh and I wanted to give it to you raw and real. And I believe that what we're going to talk about today for these next few minutes is going to help you prepare for your next level. It's the end of the year. And this is a time where people are beginning to, kind of wind down, and people are having their vision board parties are getting planned right now. People are doing their vision conversations and just trying to project for next year. But I believe that as you do that, there are several questions you have to ask yourself to make sure that your next season, your next level is what it's supposed to be. Okay. You can't just imagine and dream. There's another level that God is calling you to that involves systems, that involves people, and that involves a different mindset. I want to talk about that today before I get my day started because listen, how it came to me, I'm going to give it to you. All right. So have you ever had your future talk to you? I know we plan for the future and we hope for the future and we do all these things for the future, but has your future ever called out to you to tell you what to do to prepare for it? Woo. That's some good eating right there. So here are 3 questions and some sub questions that you can that you can begin to put in place to make sure that for your next season that you optimize your next season. You ready? Number 1, what does the long game look like? Oftentimes we prepare for the next step, or we have these immediate needs that we're trying to overcome or accomplish. But I believe that where you're going in this next season, in this next phase, this next level, you got to start preparing for the long game, not just for the next game. I played college ball. I've been playing ball since I was in kindergarten, and the coach always prepared us for the next game. However, the long game was either the city championship or the state championship or the conference championship or the national champ. Like that was the long game. So everything that we did on a daily basis prepared us for the next game, but it also prepared us for the long game. So what does your long game look like? You got to see beyond the season. You got to see beyond the season that you're in. You got to see beyond the season that's in front of you. You got to see beyond that. So what does it look like 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now? Don't let your current comfort or chaos define your future. There are things going on right now in your life that may be trying to prevent you from even getting to your next season, but you got to look past that and look at, okay, what does it look like beyond that? Once I accomplish this next thing, what does my life look like beyond that? And who is going to be impacted by the decisions I make right now in the future? So you got to ask yourself, where do I want my faith? Where do I want my family? Where do I want my finances to be in the next 5, 10, 15 years? And you begin to prepare for that, not just for the next thing, but for the thing after the next thing. Okay. Not only that, you got to define the finish line, because when life is going to happen, you're going to get frustrated. Sometimes you're going to, find yourself on track, and sometimes you're going to find yourself off track. And when you get off track, it's easy and it's tempting to begin to move the goalpost. So you have to define what's a win and what's a loss and be real with yourself. If we accomplish this, this is a win. If we don't accomplish this, this is a loss. If it's a loss, how can we troubleshoot and make it better? But you got to define the finish line. Clarity creates confidence. I just looked at my board the other day. I've been trying to lose a certain amount of weight for over a year. And I've been tracking it on my board. And last December 1st is when I began to track my journey. And I began to discover what works for me, what foods work for me, what kind of exercise works for me, and what do I got to add and take away in order for me to get to my goal. And I look back at my tracking at my data, and I saw the times where I was consistent and how my weight was going down, and I saw the times where I was inconsistent and my weight went back up. But I never would have known that if I wasn't tracking it. My finish line was a certain weight, but I still had to track it, right? So that tracking helped me to be clear in my journey. So what does winning look like? You got to be specific. You got to paint the picture so clearly that even when times get rough, you can still speak to it with confidence. All right. So see beyond the season. You got to be able to define the finish line with clarity. Not only that, you got to reverse engineer the vision. So whatever that long game finish line piece is, now you got to ask yourself, okay, if this is what it looks like in 15 years, backtrack. What do I need to do in order for that to happen? Once you see the finish line, you got to walk it backward. You got to walk it backwards. What needs to be done? What's going to be true years from now, a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now? And that's what's going to help you turn the vision into movement. Not hoping, not wishing, not dreaming, but decisive, intentional steps. And sometimes you got to, depending on the climate, sometimes you got to change your steps sometimes. Sometimes there's a detour, but you're still going in the same direction. All right? The second question you have to ask yourself is, who's involved in the process? Right? Who's involved in the process? So the first question that I share with you is, what does a long game look like? The second question is, who's involved in this process? Who are the people that are going to help you? Identify your growth circle. Who are those mentors, those family members, those friends that are going to stretch you outside of your comfort zone and hold you accountable to this thing as you're working towards it? Who are these partners who are going to make you think bigger and believe bigger? Who are those people? You got to write those people down, write them down in your journal. And not only that, reach out to them to let them know that this is the part you're playing in this journey, and ask them for permission to be included so they can show up how they need to show up for you. But these people, they don't just pat you on the back. They challenge you, and you have to be open to being challenged. You have to be open to being held accountable. You have to be open to being pushed out of your comfort zone. You got to be open to thinking bigger. Even sometimes thinking bigger means thinking different. And sometimes thinking bigger means taking stuff away so that your vision can live longer. But you got to have people in your life that are going to help you to think bigger, to live bigger, push you out of your comfort zone, and you can't resist it. You can't say, well, this is how I am. No. Your future is calling out to you and saying the way that you are right now is not the way that you need to be in order to accomplish me. Your future is calling out to you. So who are those people? Your growth circle. Number one, you have to audit your access. There's some people that you have in your life right now that they might be nice people, but they may not be right for the assignment. They can't take front seat in the journey. So I'm not saying cut them out of your life, but understand where to put them. Are they in your public space? Are they in your private space? Or in your destiny space? Very few people can be in your destiny space. You can't bring somebody from your public space into your destiny space because they don't have the capacity to hold you accountable, to help you think bigger, dream bigger. They're too busy admiring you to actually push you closer to what your future is calling you to. So you got to audit your access. You don't got to be nasty about it. You don't even got to make a big announcement, but just internally understand who your front row people are, who your balcony people are, and then serve them accordingly. Right? Not only that, as you are asking, who's supposed to be on this journey, when you have your team, empower them. Put them in a place where they grow. Don't just attract people who believe bigger. Attract those who are skilled enough to help the dream, to help the vision live. They have the capacity, they have the competency to help the dream live. Empower them. Don't overmanage them. Put them in place where they're successful. And then the third main question you got to ask yourself is, what systems need to be in place? What systems need to be in place? Favor without structure leads to frustration. I'll say that again. Favor without structure leads to frustration. Systems allow they make your success sustainable. Systems allow your success to be sustainable. So as you're asking what systems need to be in place, one of the things you have to do is build a routine, something that's repeatable, something that you're going to be disciplined about. I knew that in order for me to get to a specific weight that I wanted to get at, and it wasn't because I just wanted to be flexing and like I wanted to be healthy. And I knew in order for me to be healthy, this is this is my starting point right here. It's not my finish line. This is my starting point, right? So in order for me to even get to my starting point, I had to have a routine. I committed to working out three times a week for at least an hour, right? 3 times a week for at least an hour. There were some certain things I had to take out of my diet, right? And then recently I added like fasting spiritually, but also fasting for my physical health. That was recently added, which helped me to get over the hump. So fasting spiritually, which also impacted my health, because now my body, because I've turned down my plate for a specific amount of time. Now my body is eating on its reserves, and I'm becoming healthier as I'm growing spiritually. So it's a double benefit. So for me, that was my repeatable routine. I wake up in the morning, spend time with the Lord at 5 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And then I would go to the gym 3 times a week. Now, there were some times where I wasn't consistent. I ain't gonna lie to you. However, I already knew my routine and I knew how to get back in it. I knew how to get back in it when I needed to. So I knew I was getting up in the morning. That was my routine. Try not to get disturbed there because that sets my day. And then I would, either take the kids to school and go to the gym, or my wife would take them and then I would go to the garage and do my workout in my garage gym. Then I know what kind of foods are going to either spike my blood pressure or help or to throw me off track. So I try to stay away from those things. Sometimes I didn't. I like sweets and bread. So those are the two things I had to take out of my diet or diminish. Sometimes I fell off. A lot of times I didn't. In those months where I didn't fall off, I saw my weight go up. So I know that now. And then I would go to the gym and do that. And then, fasting, like an extensive fast once a month help me get over that. So that is my repeatable routine right as of right now. And I believe that is going to grow. But right now, that's where I am. So you also got to ask, as far as systems, what systems I need to be in place, not only repeatable routines, but also measurable checkpoints. So I track my weight. I track my progress. I know it's a win. I know what's a loss. And I know when I'm winning. I know when I'm losing. My body tells me when I'm winning. My body tells me when I'm losing. I'm tracking all that. Progress without metrics is just movement. Say that again. You're making this progress, but if you can't measure it, you're just moving. And you're hoping and wishing, but you have nothing to hold yourself accountable to. And then, next, you have to automate and delegate. This is my next level right here. So these are things, the automation and delegating piece is what I'm preparing for in this next season. What are some things in my business? Because this year I worked a lot in my business, but I'm moving to a place where I'm not working so much in my business. That's where automation comes in. I'm working on my business. How do I increase my level as a CEO of my company? What does it look like from a CEO perspective? How do I need to grow? Part of that is delegating and automating and putting people in place to do the things that I don't want to do anymore. So I can actually do stuff like I love doing stuff like this, teaching and training. So how can I do this more How do I take some things off my table? Audio editing, video editing, like all these different things that I'm doing in my business that are keeping me from doing what I want to do on my business. So automation and delegating is really going to help me in this next season. My future is telling me, my future is saying, Jesse, in order for you to be everything that God has called you to be, not just a better version of yourself, because that's the best version of ourselves is simply a reflection of Christ. So in order for me to be who I'm called to be, you got to do these things consistently. You hear that rhyme, right? In order for me to be who I'm called to be, you got to do these things consistently. And this next level is, it's calling out to me and it's telling me this is what you need to do next, right? So I hope that helped you. Again, I'm not apologizing for how I look today because I just hopped on, came through the door, kissed my wife, set up everything, plugged in my computer, went and then got to it. So now I can go about my day. But I wanted to share that with you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to this podcast. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. Hit the notification button as well. Remember that what you want to become depends on your willingness to become it. Have a great day.